you ever been walking down a dark street late at night when all is quiet? Have you ever been alone in a huge house, too aware of every noise? Have you ever felt like you must constantly look over your shoulder just to make sure you're okay? Have you ever been afraid? Of course you have. Have you ever been totally paralyzed by this fear, stuck in it, unable to move in any direction? Yeah, each of us has experienced this emotion. Fear has the potential to be a terrible emotion, a cage, a prison. So then why is it that as a culture we're infatuated with this emotion? Why do we spend millions of dollars being scared? You know, the primary mode for us in terms of storytelling, well, they're movies. We love going to movies. It would seem to me that we're infatuated with stories that somehow strike fear into us. Like Paranormal Activity, a movie recently out in the theaters that was championed for its box office success. Its primary goal, maybe its only goal, to make us terribly afraid of the spiritual around us. I was scared by movies that I've watched. I've been scared by movies that I've watched. And frankly, as I leave with this altered state of emotion, in other words, I'm afraid of something that isn't even real. I've learned that I can't stomach that. I can't stand being afraid of what isn't real. See, I and we struggle with fears that are all too real. Fears like, what if I don't have enough money to pay my bills? Fears like, what if I lose somebody that I love? A reality that unfortunately our body is wrestling with even now. Very real fears. We struggle with those. So then to be afraid of that which isn't even real, I just can't stomach it anymore. As we talk about spirituality, and specifically as we continue this morning with the teaching series we've started, titled The Counselor, a study of God the Holy Spirit, we're studying something intensely spiritual. But we have to acknowledge that whenever we approach this territory, our first thought is, at minimum, being uncomfortable. Fear. Why? I think in large part it's because anything we don't understand, anything bigger than us, out of our control, it frightens us. But see, the Holy Spirit comes to teach us about God. We've been studying this from the perspective of Jesus because we've already acknowledged in the 2 weeks of this study that many of us are okay with Jesus. As much as we understand about God, we understand it because of Him, or understand Him because of Jesus. That Jesus unpacked God for us. So we started with Holy Spirit 101, and Jesus taught us in the Gospel of John. And first He taught us this, that the Holy Spirit is another version of Jesus, just another person of the Trinity, as though Jesus now living inside of us instead of externally. And as Jesus taught the disciples, so the Holy Spirit is our teacher, leading us into all truth. And then the Holy Spirit invites us into the story of Jesus, making it intensely personal for each of us. And lastly, Jesus said this radical thing, that it's better for us that the Holy Spirit come to live within us and that Jesus go to be with the Father. Radical. Why? Why do we need the Holy Spirit? Well, we asked this question last week. And Luke helped us here, both in his Gospel and in his history book of Acts. And we understood this, that we need the Holy Spirit for power. For our lives to be changed. Luke put it this way, that we would be clothed with power from on high, as though we would God would put on us the Holy Spirit. And then we would understand this, that through God's power, we're able to actually be witnesses for Him. That is to suggest that our lives speak of His story by the way that we live, by the way that we act, by the way that we speak. Witnesses. It's like God now says, wait. And once you have the Holy Spirit, go. Be my witnesses. That brings us to our study today in connection with the Holy Spirit. What are we afraid of?